Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about the Sunday Riley Influencer Foundation. I feel like this was the most hauled foundation in all of the Sephora VIB hauls that I watched, and I watched a lot because I wanted to get ideas and make sure I didn't want anything else. And quite honestly, I feel like 99% of the people I watched picked up this foundation. It is, I'm going to say, a little bit controversial because when I hauled it, immediately a few people were like, that foundation is awful, it's got this in it, it's got that in it, which don't worry, we will talk about that. But there's a lot of I feel like uproar about the foundation. So if you don't know, Sunday Riley is a very well-known skincare brand. They're probably best known for their Good Genes, which I have used at least 3 bottles of. Their Luna oil, which I've used 2 bottles of. They've got a lot of other oils, Juno, Flora, UFO, CEO. Like, they've got a lot of stuff in their line. And apparently they used to do makeup a long time ago. They stopped doing it, and now they're starting back again. And their first foray into the makeup world, again, is this Influencer Clean Longwear Foundation. So real quick, I'm going to talk about how many shades there are, the price, the claims, all that, and then we're going to get into the nitty gritty. Also, just so you know, I have yet to watch a single review on this foundation. So if I'm repeating stuff or something, I don't know. I just haven't watched any. I didn't want it to sway my opinion. However, I have read the reviews on Sephora. Please somebody tell me how I can get my Sephora app off of Canada. They don't carry this on the Canada website, and for some reason it's on Canada and I can't get it off. Please, somebody tell me. Okay, I had to email myself the claims. This is not annoying at all. I've got to get this fixed. It comes in 20 shades and it retails for $42. I read one of the reviews on Sephora was talking about how they're so disappointed in how small it is. It's 1.08 ounces. That's very typical for a foundation. And it does come with a pump. It's very reminiscent of the It Cosmetics CC Cream packaging. Claims say that it's for normal, oily, and combo skin. That it's a clean, long-lasting foundation with medium to full coverage, formulated with your skin's health in mind, and it's solutions for redness, uneven skin tone, and oiliness. It does have skincare built into it, which is why I think it's more of that serum consistency, which you will see in the demo. And it has a satin matte finish that stays fresh-looking, even through workouts or humidity. With just one pump, get perfectly even skin with ultra-natural coverage, for fuller coverage and more concealing power that never cracks or creases, layer as needed, without worrying about clogging your pores. No matter what your desired coverage, you always have control and you still look like you. It controls oil but never dehydrates your skin, and it's a shine-free complexion finish. Pores are minimized, smooth canvas ensues. You've trusted Sunday Riley with your skincare, and now trust them with your foundation. Okay, so let's just jump right into the biggest issue that I have heard about this foundation. The comments on my haul video were about this, and it's the fact that it has so many silicones in it. Somebody said it has 7 different silicones. I counted 5, but they are pretty much within the first 7 ingredients. I looked up every single one of the silicones to see what they did, and basically they're all for the same purpose. It's a skin conditioning agent, it's a smoothing agent, it smooths texture, it helps with the color intensity and even tone. It helps with stability in higher temps, which it does say it's supposed to hold up through workouts and humidity, so that's probably why they put this cetyl diglycerol silicone in it. It's a texture enhancer and a thickening agent. People will sit and say, to whoever will listen, that silicone is the worst thing you can ever put on your face. Silicone has never been proven in any scientific form or studies to be bad for your skin. There are people who are allergic to silicones, but to say that foundation is horrible because it has silicones in it, because you're allergic to it or because you have issues with silicone on your skin, is like coming to me and telling me that that cake is awful because you're allergic to eggs. No, eggs are part of like my favorite food. So that cake and nothing with eggs in it is awful. Just because, you know, do you see the kind of comparison I'm trying to say? It's hard to sit there and put an awful review on something because it doesn't work for your skin because of an allergy, and to put a blanket review over it. So, okay, I'm going to start off with that. I'm also going to start off by saying I can never sit here and say that silicones are awful, because my very favorite foundation of all time, the Osmosis Satin Wear Foundation, has 4 silicones in it. That's 1 less than this, so I could never sit here and say this has too many silicones in it when all I do is sing the praises of a foundation that has 4. So I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say silicones are bad. Again, there's been no scientific evidence that it is bad for your skin. Does it do anything good for your skin? Like, does it have any benefits besides smoothing and stuff? No. Yeah, I mean, it's not like skincare. But, you know, I've read a lot of articles, both in preparation for this video and also just in general, that give a little bit more information. And apparently, so I'm reading straight from all these notes I took. Silicones have a particular molecule structure, which is made of a larger molecules with under spaces between each molecule, so you can trap water in without interfering with your skin's ability to breathe. Because a lot of people will say it doesn't allow the skin to breathe, that it clogs pores. If you have a sensitivity to it, yes, it's going to probably clog your pores. Just like if you have a sensitivity to essential oils, you're going to have a reaction to that where other people don't. So just keep in mind, yes, this does have a lot of silicones, but I'm not going to use that as a blanket statement as to why or if this is a bad foundation. So now that I've talked about the claims, I've talked about the whole silicone issue, I'm going to go into a demo, and then we are going to do some check-ins throughout the day. So if you want to see how this wore on my skin, by the way, I have the color 190, which is for medium skin with neutral undertones, then just keep on watching. Okay, so we are just going to get into the application. As I said in the introduction, I'm in the color 190. I am like not even pretty, like the pretty fair, like porcelain in your skin. I'm pasty white compared to the rest of my body because I self-tan everything but my face. So when I apply this, it's going to look much darker than it probably should, but I'm telling you, it works out in the end. So I have chosen not to wear any primer today because I have worn it the past 4 or 5 days, and I want to see how this works without it, because I definitely have an opinion of how it works with it. So we're going to see how it works without. So it's in that nice pump that I probably already showed. Let's move you in just a little bit. Very, very, very liquidy. Okay. So that's the color. I mean, it's like a serum-based foundation. So because of that, I like to use a brush. I tried the Beauty Blender and it just takes up too much product. I have tried my fingers and it was a nightmare. So we're just going to use a brush. This is just a BH Cosmetics Kabuki brush. So I like to stipple first and then kind of start to blend where I need it. But I find stippling provides the best coverage. So this is the side with foundation. This is the side without. You can obviously see my redness right here, as in every video. I have a few bumps right here, which I'm hoping is not from this foundation, but I really haven't changed much else. So I'm thinking it might be. But you can see it has a light coverage, I feel like, because I can still see my redness. And I've tried to build it up and it builds up to like a light medium. Excuse me, I don't consider this a medium full, or maybe a medium, but I don't consider it a full coverage. Like, I think they call it a medium to full. I don't consider it that at all. It also says that it's a satin matte finish, which as of right now, I do agree with, because if you look at my face, I'm a little luminous on this side from my skincare, and I'm about the same luminous over here. So it's not mattifying it, but it's not making it more dewy either. So I consider that more of like a natural satin matte coverage, or finish, I guess I should say. This is not going to come across on camera, but I'm also getting some texture down here in this area that I didn't have before. But you can see how that covered up my redness, but I can still see it, like the stripes right there. I have just a tad left on my hand, so I'm just going to put a little bit more and show you the buildability. But that is 2 pumps on, so you can tell the finish, the coverage, all that stuff. I will be back once I finish all of it up to talk more about the foundation. Okay, so I'm back and I have my full face done, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the foundation, and then I'll talk more about it as we do check-ins. On first, like when I'm first applying my makeup, the way I feel about this foundation is I do feel like it kind of moves a little bit. When I put my bronzer and stuff on, even if after I have set it, which today I used the Too Faced Born This Way Etherealist setting powder. I have used my Chanel setting powder. I have used the Too Faced Peach setting powder. I have used, what else have I used? My Becca Hydro Mist powder. I know I've used at least those three, and then this one. Even after I set my face, when I go to apply my bronzer and blush, I feel like it kind of moves the foundation, or at least picks it up a little bit to where I can still see some redness under my skin. Once I blend it all out, I don't think it's as evident, but I don't know, it just isn't the smoothest to work on top of. And I do feel like when I have used cream products on top, because I did use a cream bronzer one time with this, it did pick the foundation up and got patchy, especially on my forehead. But other than that, this is the finished look once the foundation is on. I feel like it is, again, it's more of a natural finish. I don't feel like, let me see if I can get you in. It says that it's supposed to conceal pores. I feel like my pores are pretty much the same as they always are. Hopefully this is in focus, but right around there, I just don't see any difference. So I don't think that it does anything for my pores particularly. But other than that, it's definitely not a matte finish. It is more of the satin matte finish like they say. So I'm going to go on throughout my day. I'll probably check in a couple times this time. Maybe not. I don't know. You'll find out in 2.5 seconds. But I am going to check in at least once, and then I'll tell you my final thoughts on the foundation. Okay, so it's been about 6 hours since I first applied this foundation. And I wanted to do a real quick check-in before I do my final one, because honestly, I have to powder my face, but I wanted y'all to see. And this, what I'm about to show you, probably started happening around the 3.5 hour mark. I have no idea if it's gonna come across with these lights or not, but right here, especially right here, especially on my chin, and all up here, so really all around my nose and on my chin is like a grease ball. And I honestly don't know if it's going to show up or not on camera, but it is. And this is definitely not the first time that it's happened. In fact, this is the least offensive day I've had so far as to looking this greasy a few hours after applying the foundation. So I'm going to take a little bit of my La Mer, the sheer pressed powder. It's kind of mattifying for me, and I'm just going to let it soak up all that grease, because that's exactly what it is. It also gets, hopefully, really shiny right here. Keep in mind, I have normal skin. Occasionally it gets on the dry side, but it is far from oily, so keep that in mind. So I am going to go to gymnastics and run some errands and put the girls to bed, and then I'll come back in for my final check-in. Okay, y'all, it is now 4 hours after the last check-in, so I've had the foundation on for a total of 10 hours. And I have touched up 4 hours ago on film. So, y'all, I'm tired. I'm so tired. I've got my tea, which, can I just say how much I love this cup? It says, this girl runs on coffee and Jesus, which, amen to that. Yes, I do. It's the same thing that's on this little sign back here. I can't go without those two things in my life, I have to say. Okay, let's talk about this foundation really quick. I am going to zoom you in again. It is doing that same exact thing around my nose and on my chin. And I hope to goodness, I can never tell in the viewfinder. One of these days, I'm going to get like an actual monitor. I hope to goodness that it's coming across on camera like it is in real life, because it just looks like a grease ball in this area and this area of my face. All the rest of the areas are okay. I did not work out today. I wish that I would have done this on a day that I was working out, because I wanted to show you how it holds up in a gym atmosphere, only because it specifically says on the claims that it's going to hold up through workout and humidity. Final thoughts on this foundation. I personally am not a fan of it because of the fact that I literally cannot wear this for 3 hours before I look like a grease ball. And I will say that today was the best of all the days, and I truly believe it's because I did not wear a primer today. I think that because there's so many silicones in this, if you put another primer, which the majority of primers do have silicones as well, it's just too many, and stuff starts to slide around and become a little more greasy, because literally on the other days, my face, I mean, you could have like slid off my face, the amount of grease that it looked like. And I never look like that, y'all. I mean, I'm normal to sometimes dry. I've never a day in my life been oily. And so it just doesn't make sense to me that it would look like that. But I mean, the first day that I wore it, not 3 hours after I got in my car and I looked in the visor, and I mean, my forehead was shiny, my cheeks were shiny, like everything. And it wasn't a dewy, pretty shiny. It was a, wow, like you're really oily and greasy and don't know how to blot shiny. Like, it wasn't the cutest. It also tends to break up on my skin, and not so much in the form of looking cracked, but in the form of just basically coming off my skin. I remember the first night that I worked out with it on, I looked in the mirror and I had patches, and this has happened with some other foundations too. I've had patches of foundation that were completely gone off of my forehead. So honestly, it just does not do anything for my skin. It doesn't make it look better. It does not last a long time for me. I really have to worry about touching up when I'm wearing it, and that's something that I don't look for in a foundation. I want to make sure something really is going to last all day for me. I'm not as worried about the silicones as other people is, so it's not the fact that those are in there, it's the fact that it just doesn't look good on my skin. When I compare it to all the countless other foundations that I adore, it's just not a great one for me. I've had people tell me that they have dry skin and that it really accentuated dry patches. This is marketed to oily skin, but quite honestly, with the way it makes me look, I have no idea how this would work on oily skin. I really don't. I would never personally feel comfortable putting it on like an oily skin client and knowing that it would last all day. It's just not something that I would want to do. So in the grand scheme of things, I think you can get my final thoughts on this foundation. I'm not a fan. I don't think I'm going to keep it because I don't ever see myself possibly reaching for it in the future. It's not one of those, it's okay, it's not awful, it's okay. It's just one of those ones that it doesn't do anything for me. It makes my skin look worse than it is, and I spend way too much money on my skincare to have a makeup product make my skin look worse. So for me, it's a thumbs down, unfortunately. I know a lot of y'all out there, when I do a couple of foundation reviews in a row, will say, you know, all foundations will look good on your skin because you've got good skin. First of all, thank you. I do work on my skin, but no, all foundations do not look good on my skin, and this is a testament to that fact. So I'm going to stop rambling about how I don't like this foundation. If you've tried it, please let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. And if you love it, let me know, because I mean, there are some people who absolutely adore it on the Sephora reviews, and then there are some people who absolutely think it's trash. So, you know, that's pretty common with most foundations. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. So hopefully this helped you in some form or fashion, or like I always say, if it didn't, at least hopefully it was some entertainment. So as always, thank y'all so much for watching, and I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day.